In this video, you'll learn if Lemonade Insurance is the right fit for homeowners or renters in the state of Massachusetts or Rhode Island. Hi, I'm Caitlin, owner of Berry Insurance, and I've been in the industry for 19 years.
And I'm Corinne, and I'm the Senior Marketing Manager here at Berry Insurance, and I also happen to be a Lemonade customer.
In this video, we're going to give you an overview of Lemonade Insurance,
share some pros and cons about the carrier,
and leave you with some personal takeaways. Let's get started. All right, so the first thing that it asks me is if I want to quote renters, homeowners, car insurance, pet insurance, or term life insurance. And I really like that it has a artificial intelligence like chatbot that goes through it, and her name is Maya, which is really cute. So I feel like I'm talking to a real person as I'm going through it. And I'm gonna click on homeowners insurance. And it's asking me first for my home address. So put that in here. And it automatically pre-fills my town, so that's good. And I don't have an apartment unit. Okay, so next it wants to know if I'm closing on a new home, thinking of switching, or other. I'm not sure what other would be, so I'm gonna say I'm thinking of switching. And then they wanna know what type of property it is, condo, co-op, or home. So I'm gonna choose it's a house. And they wanna know what type of building it is, single family, duplex, or triplex. I'm gonna say single family. And is this my primary residence? I'm gonna tell Maya it is my primary residence. And next she wants to know how I describe my exterior and interior. This I think is a little complicated because my choices are standard, high, or superb. I'm not quite sure how to describe my home, so I guess I'm gonna go for middle of the road and just say high. Okay, did your home undergo any substantial renovation, and if so, when? So I'm gonna say never and click on next. And when was my roof replaced? That actually just happened this past year, so we'll say 1 year ago. And now it looks like, from what I can understand, it appears that she's pulling information about my home, probably from the town assessor's database that we live in. Looks to be pretty accurate. They're verifying my foundation, the framing of the building, the roofing, the siding, the slope of my roof, how many stories, how many car garage, your square footage, and your year built. It looks as though if any of this information wasn't correct, I would be able to edit it. So that's good because sometimes the property assessor sites with the towns are not 100% updated. So this is really important to pay attention to. So I'm gonna say looks good and move forward. All right. Do you have any of these at this address? Fire alarm, burglar alarm, buried oil tank. So I'm gonna say no. And do I share my home with anyone? Partner, kids, dogs, or cats? So I like that. I'm gonna say partner, kids, and dogs, and we'll say next. All right, almost there. So now it wants to know when my birthday is. Never ask your age, Maya. Just kidding. So my birthday's in May, and she said, yay, Taurus's rule, which is really funny. And now she wants to know if I have a mortgage. I do, but I'm just gonna say no to kind of skip this step. And have we filed any claims in the last 5 years? So I'm gonna say no. She gave me a bicep muscle, like congratulating me, and wants to know if my home is in a state of foreclosure. So that would be a no. And she wants the last 4 digits of my social security number. Says we need this to get you the best price possible. It will not affect your credit score in any way. I'm not really sure why they would need the last 4 of my social, but we'll enter it in here. Okay, now she's crunching some numbers. So it said connecting to municipal databases, connecting to environmental databases. So it looks like because a lot of the Lemonade Insurance is working off of artificial intelligence, they're pulling from a number of different resources to try to get all the information about my home. Typically, as insurance agents, we will ask much more detailed information about your home to make sure that we are assessing the replacement cost value appropriately. So it looks like she's all ready to give me my price. All right, so my initial quote came up at $246 a month. which is actually quite higher than what I'm currently paying. So if I scroll down on here, it looks like they have my homeowner's deductible as $1,000. Really cool. They have some really nice icons that show like the coverage highlights so that you know what you're covered for: fire, smoke, bad weather, crime and vandalism, liability, water damage. And then they have icons that are grayed out to show you what is excluded. So earthquake, high risk dogs, and flood. Looks like they've got in here my structure, my dwelling limit for my home, personal property limit, portable electronics, loss of use, personal liability, and medical payments. Some of these limits are typically lower than what we would see with our standard carriers that we work with, and as in terms of personal liability, a lot lower than what we would recommend to our clients. So these would be limits that I would recommend clicking the little pencil icon on and editing. I'm gonna go ahead and update my personal liability from the $300,000 that they defaulted to $1 million. And I'm gonna apply that. And then because I have a very high-tech world in my home with lots of kids and iPads, I'm gonna increase my portable electronics as high as it can go. Interestingly though, because most of our carriers don't create sublimits for this, and it looks like it takes a little while, so we'll just increase it to 3,000. And then loss of use, medical payments, I'm gonna increase. We typically recommend the minimum of $5,000, and they were quoting me at $1,000. This coverage is very inexpensive, so I would definitely recommend increasing to the maximum of $5,000. And I'm gonna leave my deductible at $1,000. And then they have an option where I can either finalize the payment or I can get discounts. So I'm gonna see what the discounts are. All right, so it wants to know if I have any safety devices installed: wind protection, fire protection, theft protection, water leak detection system, or I can say I don't know. So I'm gonna say I have fire protection and just hit next. And it wants to know what type of protection I have, so I'm gonna say I have an extinguisher and smoke alarms. All right, and then next it wants to know if I live in a gated community, so I'm not sure. I'm sure that's a security question, but I don't. And we're done. So not a ton of discounts available through Lemonade. Most of our carriers that we work with offer quite a few more, so that would be something to consider when shopping with Lemonade. But I'm gonna apply my discount because it said that just having those smoke security systems saved me $117 a year, which is nice. So my payment came out to $240 a month, which is in the range of like $3,000 a year. Quite a bit more expensive than what I'm paying right now. I'm only paying $1,900 for my homeowner's insurance. So while I really love the app and the simplicity of it, and I love the AI talking to Maya as she's going through my quote, I think that's really cool. Coverage is not the same as what many insurance carriers in Massachusetts offer. It's priced very high compared to what I've got currently. And just some interesting things about Lemonade is one of the major downfalls that I find is it doesn't offer personal injury coverage, which is for libel, slander, really important in today's world, especially when everybody is very litigious. You want to make sure that you have that coverage. All of the carriers that we work with here at Berry Insurance offer it automatically on homeowners policies. Lemonade does not even offer that coverage currently. So it's something that you definitely want to consider before moving forward with a quote with Lemonade. The only other downside to Lemonade that I have found is I can't get an umbrella on my homeowner's policy, and I can't get auto insurance here in Massachusetts yet. So really cool app, really cool system, very simple to use, but quite a bit more expensive, and the coverages just aren't nearly what they would be normally with our agency.
So I'm actually a Lemonade customer because I live out of state, so my options with Berry Insurance unfortunately aren't as abundant as they are for a Massachusetts resident and a renter. So I have Lemonade, and surprisingly, I have auto insurance with a direct writer in the state of Rhode Island. And I always heard, and I know that it's usually the case, that bundling is the best option, bundling your home and your renters. But when I quoted with the carrier my auto insurance is with, the limits were actually super low on the policy they quoted with me, and the premium was really high for renter's insurance. So rather than bundling, I decided to look for other options, and I found out about Lemonade, so I decided to get a quote through them. After I got my quote, I was satisfied with the price. I was able to increase the limits beyond what they were with my auto insurance carrier, and the price was less than half of what it would have been through that carrier, even taking into account the bundling. So this is the policy that I have. It includes $40,000 in personal property coverage, $12,000 loss of use, $100,000 personal liability, $1,000 medical payments to others, $1,500 portable electronics with a $500 deductible. So with limited insurance knowledge, I do know the limits are much better than what was being offered through the other carrier, but I'm curious, Caitlin, what you think about these limits as an insurance expert.
So, I mean, renter's insurance is a pretty basic policy, and what you've got are the basic coverages that you're going to see on a renter's policy. I would definitely consider increasing your personal liability coverage. To go from $100,000 to $1 million should only be maybe $20, if that. And in today's world, I would feel more comfortable having that protection, and I would definitely want that for you. Medical payments is also something that I would increase from $1,000 to the maximum of $5,000, and this is kind of a great coverage to have if somebody gets injured on your property, if they're in your apartment and they fall and they need medical services right away. You can have this coverage kind of give an immediate medical service to them. So $1,000 isn't really going to go very far. If somebody gets injured, needs to be transported to the hospital, I would increase it to the $5,000. Other than that, you've got all the basic coverages. The only thing, again, with Lemonade Insurance is they don't offer that personal injury coverage. You're newly married, no children, probably not concerned about being sued for libel or slander or anything like that, but as your family grows, that would be something that you definitely would want to consider.
Okay, that makes sense. Yeah, so far with Lemonade, that the limits are definitely something to look into, but I was happy that I was able to increase some of the limits beyond what was being offered to me, and I feel like the premium is pretty decent for a renter's insurance policy. It's also worth noting that I got pet insurance at the same time, and so far, I haven't had to file any claims or anything, thank goodness, but so far the service, I think, has been great with Lemonade. They immediately sent me a few emails that were super helpful. I wanted to schedule my engagement and wedding ring on the policy, and they sent me an email showing me exactly how to do that by a click of a button. They also had really fun GIFs, like welcoming me to the Lemonade team of their team, like cheering, and the pet insurance had them with all their dogs and a GIF cheering. So they're really friendly, good customer service, I feel like. After reviewing Lemonade, Caitlin and I came up with a few main takeaways of things we like and don't like about the carrier. We really loved the use of Maya and the AI chat because even though we knew it wasn't a real person on the end of the line there, she was still funny, had jokes along the way, and it was friendly and helpful, and it made it seem like we were talking to a real person quoting us. The interface was fun and simple to use, and it was really convenient to get a quote within minutes just from a few quick questions on the website. As a client myself, I also really like the service I've gotten from them so far through their emails. They've been really fun and interactive, and if I've had any sort of thing I needed to update on my policy, they sent a quick email with easy instructions on how to do it. When I first moved into my apartment complex, I knew, there was a number of risks, anything could happen. So I wanted a quick and easy policy that I knew would protect my family and my dog and all of my possessions that are important to me. It was really great to know that there was an option there for me when the carrier that wrote my car insurance wasn't able to deliver a competitive quote to me. They have a really easy to use website and app, so if I ever need to change anything about my policy, it's really easy to do. Now, here are some shortfalls that Caitlin and I identified. They're kind of limited in the coverages they offer. For one, they don't have auto insurance or umbrella insurance here in Massachusetts yet. Their limits aren't also as high as some of the traditional carriers, like the ones we work with here at Berry Insurance, and we always like to make sure our clients have thorough policies that are fully covering them. When picking your coverages, some of the defaults are also kind of lower on the coverages, and consumers might not realize that it should be higher or really know what they need. During the quoting process, you can't really speak to a live person if you have questions. For example, when Caitlin was filling out her quote, she wasn't sure of what some of the questions were asking about her home features, and she felt like her home fell between two of the categories that she had to choose from. They also didn't upfront explain all of the exclusions they had, so they explained some of them, but when Caitlin was quoting, they asked if she had a dog, she said yes, and they didn't explain that certain breeds were excluded, so consumers could potentially think that they have something covered that might not be. Here's some breeds that aren't covered. These breeds aren't really unusual for insurance carriers to not cover, but our agents here at Berry Insurance typically will ask about your dog breed and then tell you if it's not going to be covered. Also, some coverages that are typically standard here in Massachusetts, such as personal injury, aren't covered through Lemonade, and in today's world, the possibility of getting sued for libel or slander is higher than it used to be. Thanks for watching this video. If you'd like to learn more about insurance, be sure to subscribe to this channel and head on over to our Learning Center. And if you'd like to see more reviews like this in the future, comment below. We hope you've learned a little bit more about Lemonade Insurance, so shopping for a policy won't be a sour experience for you. Thanks for watching!